Hey, this is Boat Doctor. Hey, this is for Chris. Now, what we're gonna do, now that I'm out here, see which way the tides are, we can just go home and we can go to, I think vessels, we got there, get out of that. Where to? At source services. That ain't what I'm looking for, but fuel repairs, restroom, slips, morages, it'll do all that for you. Go home. And it's almost at slack tide, believe it or not. Okay, settings. We need to go back and we need to find, because I'm sure this has it. Home. Trip, vessels, active captain, engines, combo, vessels, charts. I'm going to hit pages, disable backlight. Okay, backlight. We're going to go all the way up. Color mode, daytime colors. Yes, we want to keep those. Disable all sonars. No, we got that. And I'm trying to find that one where it should be under here marked. That's just waypoints. There should be a place here for, I think, for tides. I'm gonna hit here. That's just that. Go home. Settings wouldn't have nothing to do with that. Go back into here. No, wouldn't have nothing to do with that. So sonar, traditional. Get here. Yeah, I want my zoom on, that gives me my magnifier. There's a lot of bait right there. Right, boom, boom, boom. Go back. Okay, well, I'm gonna just go from start because you would think this would have the tides built into it, but maybe not. So here's how I start setting them up. Okay, I find it, like right now, I'm gonna look at which way. I think it's pretty much slack. So, okay. So I'm gonna go up here, and what I do when I set these up, instead of wasting your gas or breaking in a new motor, I don't want to do a lot of idling. So I'll get up here. Now I'm just gonna go through some of the settings, and then I'm gonna set it up and then do another quick video for you. So I'm gonna get up here, make sure, you always gotta watch when you're doing what I'm doing at that tight switches, and it's going 4 to 5 miles an hour. You could end up on that buoy and nothing flat. So kind of get yourself out of alignment with those. Make sure we're in 48 feet. So right there is good. I'm going to bring that back. I'm going to go ahead and shut that motor off. So now we're just floating. But just keep an eye on everything. So now what you want to do is go home. This is on the initial. Hit settings. Go to system, sounds and displays. Just read down through these. Color mode, daytime theme, startup, that's fine. Okay, everything there looks cool. I'll just leave everything there. So that was sounds and display. Then satellite positioning. I want the WAS on. I turn that on. And positioning mode, that's going to take a second to load. See how it popped up all your satellites right here built in? Tells you that it's a built-in or external antenna. Yeah, so it is going out a little bit. So what I'm going to have to do now, just so I don't get in trouble, I'm just going to put it in gear and maybe bump this up, hold it till you hear the beep, give it a couple beeps, then go back, transmit. Okay, back out of that. System information, Garmin devices. Here you go, you find out what this is. It's a UHD 94 SE side view. Okay, then you go back. Now these you don't want to get into, okay? Event logs, charts, descriptions, satellite system information, we already did that. Station information, this is the helm, which is set. This again you don't want to get into. All units, I'm going to turn that off. That's, and then on auto power, never, because in an hour it would shut it down and it would put it in. It wouldn't completely shut it down, but it would put it into a sleep mode. But simulator, if this thing all of a sudden just shows you like Africa or Florida, or it holds the same depth, it looks like you got fish when you know there's no, someone probably hit the simulator and turned it on. So if that ever happens, go to this and make sure that simulator is off. And then I'm going to bump that up a little bit, get that running a little bit instead of just idling it. Then go to communication. This is how I can tell if you have any NEMA networks, like say this Honda. That's going to show up here under a NEMA 2000. But if that didn't show up, and say those gauges didn't work, that means it wasn't powered through the NEMA yet. So I'm going to go NEMA device list, right here, Honda. BF 75PGMI. So that gives you motor information in this unit. So it was working, but say, this is how I can tell if that wasn't showing and I wasn't getting any reading on that engine functions. That means you either didn't have it or you have it, but they didn't connect it to the network or NEMA. So we're going to go back here and NEMA 2000. You can see, read it all. Your warnings, that's fine. That's just a diagnostic. Again, these you don't want to get into. Wireless devices, that would be like remotes. Like if I hit that right here, wireless remotes. Garmin trolling motor, that's another nice thing. So if you put a Garmin, like a Kraken on here, you can actually control it from here, plus get a wireless remote. You go back, preferred sources, GPS is auto, which is actually, I know, change source. We only have one, it's built in, so auto is fine because you don't have to go between this and a flush mount or a external antenna. So we'll go back. You don't really need auto depth is fine. Wireless identify preferred sources. Go back. Now go to communications. We already did that. Go to alarms, navigation. That's for now anchor drag. What that is say you threw an anchor out here. What you do is you take the length of your boat, say 15, say just 16 roughly, and then double that. So then that's 30, 31 feet. Then figure out how much rope you put out. So say you put 40 feet out and you had 40 feet of your boat length and everything. So that would be 80 feet. So you'd want to put this anchor drag for 80 feet. So it was set out an alarm because you got to figure out your whole rotation of the boat when you put the anchor to the swing. So if, say, beeper starts going off, then you would look at your miles an hour on your GPS, and if you're going like a mile an hour, that means your anchor ain't holding, but that's an alarm. So then you can go back here, so then you can go to, back here, go to system, you can go to unit voltage, I can change the voltage. Let's go down to like 10.9, done. So then we go back here. And then collision, that's AIS. You don't need to worry about that. Fuel, total fuel on board. We got, well, we don't know because we haven't filled it on. But this is something you can do here. You can go on and then put how many gallons and then refill it. Okay, so then go back. My vessel, transducers, that shows you what you got the good transducer actually. The GT56 UHD is just as good as the 60 series. So and this is what I like about Garmin's. Okay, if I hooked up any transducer, and there's a lot of different ones, it's going to recognize it and it's going to ask you if you want to change model. See all those right there? But this can auto detect which one you have, which it did. That's another nice thing of the Garmin. Okay, fuel, same thing, fuel economy, fuel tank, got that. Okay, go back up, go back. So that's alarms, my vessels, there's one thing, yep. So then we go to transducers, other vessels. That's AIS, which you don't have. That's if you had a VHF and you wanted to know automated identification system. That's for bigger boats, charters that have AIS through an MMSI number, which you don't have. But if you do get a VHF, make sure it has AIS capability, which is a 215 AIS. Other vessels, I already told you, regulatory, you don't need that. Oh, active captain, if you want to hook up active captain, read this, it's really easy. You can put it on your, like an Android, an iOS, an Apple, iPad, and anything the screen can do, you'll see on that screen. It's really, just make sure you got a good Wi-Fi and pick a password and write it down and don't forget it, because you'll have a problem if you didn't. Okay, my vessel. This should have had, I don't think maybe it has this feature. I'm going to go into charts real quick, charts, and I'm going to put a waypoint, just like say right here, and waypoint route go to measure, and it doesn't, that's why. See, this doesn't have the auto guidance, but that's okay. Okay, stop panning. Now, you notice this right here, this is pretty fast. A lot of these won't, they'll glitch out on you, but say there. See how that stopped for a second? And it's gonna load? That's where that G2 or that Navionics Platinum Plus card does. It speeds up your processing speed. Now you can pinch to zoom. So then we want to go home again. I'm going to go to settings. So we went through other vessel regulatory. So we're all through with the settings up here. Now I'm going to go to part 4 or 5.